Now call the May 5th, 2026 Finance Committee meeting to order at 6:47 PM. Consideration of claims. Chair would entertain a motion for the approval of claims.
Your Honor, consideration of claims to be paid in the amount of $806,840.08. Payroll and liabilities for 4/17/2026 and payroll for 5/1/2026 in the amount of $525,646.93 for a total of $1,332,487.01. That was a lot to say, just say it.
A second.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Johnson and a second by Councilwoman Brothers to recommend consideration of claims to be paid in the amount of $806,840.08, payroll and liabilities for April 17th, 2026 and May 1st, 2026 in the amount of $525,646.93 for a total of $1,332,487.01. Is there any questions, comments, or concerns before we vote?
Just real quick, Ms. Harrison, sorry. Was that the final payment on the street sweeper too?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I would like to draw your attention to page 5 of 15 in your packet to Floyd's Truck Center. It's at the very top of the page. There was an invoice that we're paying for $427,644, and that is for our budgeted street sweeper that we took possession of last week, and that is the full payment for the sweeper.
Hot dog.
Thank you, Mia.
Congratulations, Brendan.
I feel good.
You gonna take it for a cruise down Main?
It's been making its rounds.
Nice.
Looking for names.
Oh, no.
I like the Dirt Reynolds.
Dirt Reynolds.
That was
It is good. I haven't heard any of the names yet. Any other questions, comments, concerns? No. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Is there anything additional to come before the committee this evening, Director Harris?
Mr. Chair, I have nothing. Thank you.
Perfect. Without objection, we'll adjourn at 6:48 PM.
The very least, you can hear us, and just try to be loud. If you had a flag with you, maybe you could wave it. All right. Now call the May 5th, 2026 regular meeting of the Riverton City Council to order at 7:03 p.m. Councilman Carr, if you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, after which Councilman Larson will give us the invocation. If everyone could please rise and remove hats.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our eternal Heavenly Father, we are thankful for the opportunity to be at council meeting this night and to serve the patrons of Riverton, Wyoming. We are thankful for they and their attention to our council. We're thankful for the moisture which Thou has blessed us with this last week. Thankful for the opportunity to have serving people working for us, the first responders, the fire department, those people at risk. Father, we would ask that thou would watch over and bless them. We would ask also that they might be watched over the military and those in harm's way. We are thankful for all our blessings, especially for freedom. And we say this humbly, name thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Ms. Harris, could you please conduct the roll call?
Yes, Councilmember Eric Carr.
Here.
Councilmember Rebecca Brothers.
Here?
Councilmember Mike Bailey.
Absent.
Councilmember Carla Borders.
Here.
Councilmember Kyle Larson.
Here.
Councilmember Karen Johnson.
Here.
Mayor Tim Hancock.
I'm here. I'd entertain a motion to excuse Councilman Mike Bailey from tonight's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Johnson, second by Councilman Carr. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes, and I declare we have a quorum. I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented. There has been a request from the Youth Council to move item 16 on the agenda, which is the item they intend to present on, to be item 15, and move item 15 to be item 16. So we'd entertain a motion in that regards.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Brothers, second by Councilman Carr. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. I vote aye, and the motion passes. Need to get you guys home at a decent hour. School tomorrow. Okay, introduction and oath of office. Patrol Officer, Police Chief, please give us your report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This time I ask Rebecca Nesta and her family to join me. Tonight, Rebecca's joining our police family. She's a Wyoming native. She grew up in Casper for her first 8 years. She's lived in Casper, Cody, and Laramie. She's been in retail for the last 25 years, but she has her associates in criminology. She loves to be outside, hiking, camping, and she loves to travel. She's been to 37 states and has 13 more to go. She likes to read books and learn new things. The last couple of days, she's got to learn about electronic control devices and pepper spray. She's inherited her grandparents' property here in Riverton, and she's happy to call Riverton her home. And as a long tradition, we ask for family member tonight, Sonia, her mother, to please pin the badge on Rebecca. This time, Your Honor, we're ready for your oath of office.
No.
But you can support her in it. That sounds great. All right, I'm going to say aye, and if you want to look at that, you can. If you want to just listen to me stumble through it, you can do that too. After I say aye, you're going to say your name and then just repeat after me, okay?
Okay.
I
I, Rebecca Nesta,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wyoming.
and the Constitution of the United States of Wyoming.
The State of Wyoming.
State of Wyoming, yeah.
I have not knowingly
I have not knowingly
violated any law
violated any law
related to my appointment,
related to my appointment,
nor caused it to be done by others,
nor caused it to be done by others,
and that I will discharge the duties
and that I will just discharge the duties
of my office
of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Nice job.
Yippee.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations, be safe. Happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Well, welcome aboard. Oh, yeah, just off. I know, that's a tradition. Anytime we swear in officers, they're just like,
No,
take you away. Excited to have Officer Nestor here. Very glad that she's willing to serve her community. Appreciate her being willing to step up.
Like sticks.
Anybody who's interested, we still have some open positions. We'd love to have you. Some of you in the audience may be a little too young or a little too old, depending, but we certainly appreciate everyone that's been willing to serve. All right, well, I have 3 proclamations to read, and first I want to apologize to the missing and murdered Indigenous relatives folks. Had agreed to read this proclamation at their march on Sunday, and I neglected to attend. And so we had already planned I was going to read it here at our meeting today, but just wanted to note, I apologize for the fact that I did not attend that and read the proclamation there. So, but we have 3 proclamations. I'm going to try to get through them pretty quickly, but they're important things that I think we should recognize during this week and this month. First off is a Nurses Week proclamation, then we have a Building Safety Month proclamation, which I swear sometimes comes more than once a year, but building safety is important. And then Missing Murdered Indigenous Relatives Awareness Day. So we'll just get through these. Whereas registered nurses in Wyoming constitute our state's largest healthcare profession, and whereas the depth and breadth of the registered nursing profession meets the different and emerging healthcare needs of the Wyoming population in a wide range of settings, and whereas the Wyoming Nurses Association is the voice for registered nurses in this state, is working to chart a new course for a healthy nation that relies on increasing access to primary and preventative health care and better utilization of all of our state's registered nursing resources. And whereas professional nursing is an indispensable component of the safety and quality of care of hospitalized and non-hospitalized patients, and whereas the demand for registered nurses are needed. The demand for registered nursing services will be greater than ever because of the aging of the Wyoming population, emerging health challenges, the continuing expansion of life-sustaining technologies, and the explosive growth of home health care services. And whereas more qualified registered nurses are needed in the future to meet the increasingly complex needs of healthcare consumers in this community. And whereas the cost-effective, safe, and high-quality healthcare services provided by registered nurses will be an increasingly important component of the Wyoming healthcare delivery system in the future. And whereas the Wyoming Nurses Association has declared May 6th through 12th, so starting tomorrow, as Nurses Week with the theme, The Power of Nurses, with appreciation for nurses' unparalleled impact and their contributions to healthcare, and an open invitation to #ThankANurse for enriching our lives in the world we live in. Therefore be it, now therefore I, Timothy Hancock, Mayor of the City of Riverton, do hereby proclaim May 6th through 12th, Nurses Week, and be resolved that the residents of Riverton, Wyoming celebrate registered nurses' accomplishments and efforts to improve our healthcare system and show our appreciation for the state's registered nurses, not just during this week, but at every opportunity throughout the year. And witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the City of Riverton to be affixed this 5th day of May, 2026. So appreciate that, and appreciate all the work that nurses do in our community. I have been privileged to meet quite a few wonderful nurses and had family members that have been served by them. I've been served by them, and appreciate their hard work every day. Man, they don't get enough recognition. They really don't. So appreciate the opportunity to share that proclamation. Next one that we have is Building Safety Month. This is for May 2026, whereas the City of Riverton, Wyoming is committed to recognizing that our growth and strength depends on the safety and essential role our homes, buildings, and infrastructure play, both in everyday life and when disasters strike. And whereas our confidence in the resilience of these buildings that make up our community is achieved through the devotion of vigilant guardians, building safety and fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, design professionals, laborers, plumbers, and others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure the safe construction of buildings. And whereas these guardians are dedicated members of the International Code Council, a nonprofit that brings together local, state, territorial, tribal, and federal officials who are expert in the built environment to create and implement the highest quality codes and standards to protect us in the buildings where we live, learn, work, and play. And whereas these modern building codes and standards include safeguards to protect the public from hazards such as hurricanes, snowstorms, tornadoes, wildland fires, floods, and earthquakes. And whereas Building Safety Month is sponsored by ICC to remind the public about the critical role of our community's largely unknown protectors of public safety, our code officials who assure us of safe, sustainable, and affordable buildings that are essential to our prosperity. And whereas Built to Last, the theme for Building Safety Month 2026, encourages us all to get involved and raise awareness about building safety on a personal, local, and global scale. And whereas each year in observance of Building Safety Month, people all over the world are asked to consider the commitment to improve building safety, resilience, economic investment at home and in the community, and to acknowledge the essential service provided to all of us by local, state, tribal, territorial, and federal building safety and fire prevention departments in protecting life and property. Now, therefore, I, Tim Hancock, Mayor, City of Riverton, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2026 as Building Safety Month. Accordingly, I encourage our citizens to join us as we participate in Building Safety Month activities. So we've had a couple of fires that have had some pretty significant impacts on the lives of individuals in our community. And you can't prevent everything. But I will say that we have very good officials for the City of Riverton who try to take their job seriously, as well as understanding that we need to be able to not become tyrannical, I guess would be the word for it. But really appreciate the hard work that goes into ensuring that our buildings here in Riverton are safe, functional, and something that we can be proud of. So appreciate being able to read that proclamation, and I hope me saying it's Building Safety Month again did not diminish that at all. I just know every year, more than just about any other proclamation, this one we get every single year since I've been here, and it's a good one. So thank you to the hard work of our city employees every day and those around the county as well. Last one we have, Missing and Murdered Indigenous Relatives Awareness Day proclamation. Whereas the City of Riverton is located near the Wind River Indian Reservation and shares a deep and lasting connection with the Eastern Shoshone and Northern Arapaho peoples, whose cultures, histories, and lives contribute immeasurably to our community. And whereas Indigenous women and girls face alarmingly high rates of violence, murder, and disappearance compared to other populations, a crisis that affects families and communities across Wyoming and the nation. And whereas Wyoming's Native American population experiences significant disparities in missing persons and homicide rates, and the memory of those who are missing or murdered must be honored through awareness, advocacy, and action. Whereas May 5th has been recognized nationally as Missing and Murdered Indigenous Relatives Awareness Day, in memory of Hannah Harris, a Northern Cheyenne woman murdered in 2013, and in solidarity with all those who seek justice and healing. And whereas the City of Riverton is committed to promoting public awareness, supporting families and survivors, and working toward justice for Native communities affected by this ongoing crisis. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Tim Hancock, Mayor of the City of Riverton, do hereby proclaim May 5th, 2026 as Missing and Murdered Indigenous Relatives Awareness Day in Riverton, Wyoming, and encourage all citizens to honor the memory of those missing and murdered, to support community-based solutions, and to stand in solidarity with Indigenous peoples in the pursuit of justice, healing, and change. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the City of Riverton to be affixed this 5th day of May, 2026. I wish that we had someone here for this proclamation. I appreciate the years past when we've had that. I know that they had a march just on Sunday. But somebody was just mentioning it to me the other day, how often we look at the newspaper or look at other news releases with missing people in our area. And it's not right. It's something that whatever we can do to stem that tide, I think, is important. So appreciate the opportunity to discuss that today. All right. Moving on, council committee reports and council members roundtable. Are you with us, Councilwoman Borders?
I am. Can you hear me?
You're still pretty quiet.
Will you check to ensure that she's not on speakerphone?
So take it off of
So-
speakerphone. Are you on speakerphone, Councilwoman Borders?
I am. Do you want me to turn that off?
Let's see if it helps.
Okay, we'll give it a shot. So, Your Honor, let's see, still meeting on the semi-quincentennial activities for July 4th. We're looking for food vendors and musicians to play throughout the day and sell their wares. I also attended the Mercy House Vision Dinner, which was very well attended. It was an amazing evening with lots of success stories and stories about their goals. And so for anyone that is willing to, they sure could use some help with donations, and you can get a hold of them.
Can you get closer to the mic?
For further details. And then I just want to let everyone know, along with my constituents, that I will be out for medical, probably for the next meeting and maybe the one after that. Just want to let you know I'll still be here, and I will attend when I can. And that's all I have for the evening.
Okay, I guess for those that didn't hear it, a couple of things. Just was a report on the semi-quincentennial, still looking for food vendors, opportunity to attend the Mercy House Vision Dinner, and then said you're going to be out for medical, I don't want to say leave, but you're going to be out. You're going to be not attending the next, how many meetings did you say, Carla?
Probably at least 2.
Okay, so at least for the next 2 meetings, and you'll try to attend by phone.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll keep working on the ability to hear you better here in the council chambers.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your report. That was better at the end. The thank you there. Okay, let's go to Councilman Larson next.
Your Honor, it's been a long time, but we were, solid waste is the last meeting that I attended. And the issue was floated that we might operate the transfer station for ourselves. And that was up to negotiations, and they were going to meet with the city of Riverton over that.
The whole city?
You and Kyle and his appointed people for determining if that would be beneficial. It's still kind of foggy on when the solid waste will be shut down in Lander. They give all kinds of data. And unfortunately, since we happen to provide most of the solid waste going to that facility, and ours keeps on going down in volume, that doesn't give me a warm, fuzzy feeling on their figures. So I'm thinking that we'll be closer to, instead of 28, it'll be closer to 30 before we're required to start hauling out to Sandral. Sandral is ready and complete, but they don't want to duplicate the effort of having Lander open and Sandra open, and that's the reason for hauling from Riverton to Lander. The second thing that's been going on in my mind is we have the dog pound And somehow I don't understand how we can spend so much on veterinary bills on dogs we don't own, nor that we feed, but we don't take care of. They're not ours. Like in $150,000 worth of vet bills. For that amount of money, you could hire your own vet and be on call 5 days a week and set up shop there. So that's a rub. But anyway, that's all I have to report on, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Johnson, by the way, your nameplate, for a minute there during the other meeting, you were somebody else.
Was I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was I cool?
Yeah, you were
Okay,
cool.
well, that's all that matters.
It was one of our youth council members, so.
I'll take it. I did not have any scheduled meetings. Since our last meeting, I have met with several people, but not any scheduled meetings. I'm just working on some research and some other things, resolving some issues. But that's all I have. Nothing to report on.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Councilwoman Johnson. Councilman Carr?
Thank you, Your Honor. I had the opportunity to attend the Youth Council meeting on April 26th. There was 7 members in attendance, and they did an amazing job. I was so impressed with how well they ran the meeting. They kept it to 51 minutes on the dot. They went over their roundtable discussions. The chief gave an update on a time capsule for the quincentennial, and I provided some insight into volunteering. They went over their goals, which I believe we'll hear about tonight, the 4th of July committee assignments, Rails to Trails, Instagram account, which I won't be viewing, and prioritizing service in the community, set up a service calendar so that people can see what they're doing, and they are accepting applications for the next session of their council. So if any high schoolers are watching tonight, feel free to drop off your application.
We'd love to have you serve.
We'd love to have you serve, yes. I also traveled to Ogden this weekend. By chance, we ran into the Riverton High School band, who had received first place in their division. They received a superior rating, but they did not place first, sorry. I got that backwards, yes. So, well done to the Riverton High School band. I was also a band member for many, many years, and that's something to be proud of, especially when you travel out of state to a larger metropolitan area, so.
And just remind us all, what did you play?
It was a trumpet.
Okay. Just was curious.
Yeah.
You gonna come play for us at a meeting sometime?
Negative.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to it. We'll put it on the agenda.
Perfect.
Councilwoman Brothers?
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. And thank you, Councilmember Carr, for attending that meeting. And just as a reminder for anyone that wants to put in an application to the Youth Council, we accept homeschoolers as well. So please, don't think that you have to be at the high school, and don't think that you have to be in the wards here. You can be outside of the Riverton area. You just have to be in the Fremont 25 school district area, but you don't have to be going to the school. You can be homeschooled as well. So we would love to have anybody. And also, not only did the high school band travel last weekend, but the middle school band traveled to Lagoon, and my son was on that trip, and they also got a superior rating.
Excellent.
And, and then my son played the trombone, so, and they did wonderful. And their concert was last night, and it was just excellent, so. But I attended one meeting. I attended one of the budget planning meetings, and I just wanted to say to everyone listening that I was immensely impressed by the work of our city employees. And, Mr. Butterfield's talking right now, but I will say to those three sitting right there and the chief, that, you know, the work that our city employees do, and I know that most of Riverton doesn't even know this, but they look at every single dollar, every single tax dollar that is being spent, and they make sure that that money is being carefully spent. And I really want Riverton citizens to understand that they are not wasteful. I mean, not even not wasteful, they are extremely careful. They are prodigious with your money. And we have an amazing team. They look at grants, they're just very, very careful. I'm so grateful for you guys. Thank you for the chance to be able to sit in on that meeting that I was able to sit in on. And it just really showed me what a great team that we have. So thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, I appreciate it. All right, Mr. Butterfield?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to just segue from what Councilwoman Brother said and thank the team for their work this budget season. It seems like every budget year is challenging, but I'm so thankful to have team members that step up and do the very best that they can to serve the community and also be very fiscally responsible. While the city has a large budget, I can say that every dollar is accounted for and it's going to support services. To that end, we definitely want to invite the public to attend next week's work session, where we will have opportunity to present the budget to the council. And I thought I'd raise the question with the council now, if it's appropriate, if you'd like to have that meeting at 7 o'clock or at a different time.
6 o'clock?
It was 6.
6 will be fine.
I like 6 o'clock because then everybody can go home and get food and come back. Bring the food with them. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I think we're good at 6 o'clock then.
Thank you, Your Honor. So next week, here in council chambers at 6 o'clock, we'll have opportunity to do our budget presentation. And then also the council will have opportunity to discuss again the community service contracts program and the allocation of funds related to the requests that you received last month. I also wanted to highlight a few of our team members. Every meeting, or prior to every business meeting, you as a council have opportunity to review a packet that relates to not just the finance matters of the city, but also the action items that you'll be taking. And there's a lot of work that goes into those packets, and I'd like to highlight Mia's team because it never fails that they're waiting for someone to submit a report and get things done, but they're always very patient, and they make sure that the packets get out to you as a council so that you're prepared for these meetings. So thank you to Max Batista, because he's always the one who's helping us quite a bit. And then Riwa Godrin's helping us a lot with our finance packet, and then always the leadership of Mia and what she does as our administrative services director. So I thought it'd be appropriate to take a quick moment to say thank you, because oftentimes it is just unsung work that we take for granted. So thank you. We will have no planning commission this Thursday, and I'd like to announce that while we are sad to move on from Christy Peterson and her role as a building technician, we will have a new person filling that role starting next Wednesday, and we're excited to welcome them. There will be an airport board this upcoming Friday, and then also a Fix Our Road Citizen Committee meeting this upcoming Monday. And want to express gratitude to our community for the patience that they have as they see detours and other impacts to their regular commutes as we are improving the infrastructure. We know it's frustrating, but we encourage folks to be patient, because while it's an inconvenience, it also means that we're improving Riverton, and progress is a good thing, even if it provides a little pain for a short period of time. I experienced that on Monday as I forgot about the closure and was taking my kids to Willow Creek, and we were pretty close to being late, so it cut close. So I just appreciate the patience of the community on that. As reported in our finance meeting, the long-awaited procurement of the street sweeper is here, and our residents will have been able to see it working already in the community. And I do believe the Public Works Department and Mr. Tolman are soliciting names for that new street sweeper. And I've provided a few, but I don't know if they're as creative as maybe what the community can come up with.
Oh, I want to hear them. I saw some of them in the report.
Dirt Reynolds is a classic.
Oh, that's great.
One of the best. We need to give it like a mustache, though, of some sort.
I wish I could take credit for it, but when Brendan asked for names, I pulled up Google and asked them to help me out, so. At any rate, we're glad to have that improvement. Also, the drinking fountain that you as a council prioritized, especially with your community gas grant funds, is underway right now in City Park. That it should be completed in the near future, and we're excited for that improvement. There are 2 bids out currently for upcoming improvements. One is the slurry seal project that is supported by the optional 1% tax. That will provide necessary pavement preservation to several streets throughout Riverton. And then also there is an advertisement for a fixed base operator who will provide fueling services at the airfield and work through some of those services provided to both commercial and general aviation operations. I want to note that while the public was able to observe that the Verizon lease for the tower that's located on Griffey Hill was not successfully negotiated before it was expired, Verizon has recently reached out to the city and is very interested in recommencing negotiations. And if the council is amenable to that, we'd be happy to bring back this opportunity for reconsideration as new representatives with Verizon are interested in ensuring that that asset remains in place for them. A few items just to close on relate to the police department. BNSF was able to provide a $5,000 grant to the city of Riverton to help support vehicle replacement for our community service officer. And then really want to say thank you to Casper and Trojan County because they have provided $8,000 worth of equipment and about $2,600 in cash to support a new program that the chief of police is working on, which is our police cadet program. This is a great opportunity to engage our youth in the community and expose them to a career in law enforcement and also provide service and support to their community. We anticipate that this program will be up and running by June, and the chief will have a meeting tomorrow, in fact, with some of the future cadets. And with that, Your Honor, I'd like to turn the remainder of the time to the chief. This last week, we had some challenging things that one of these times I'm not going to tear up over something like this, but our community's gone through some hardship recently, and I appreciate the efforts of our first responders across the board for the way that they responded to that. And I think it's appropriate to turn it over to the chief now.
Thank you, Mr. Butterfield. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. As everyone's aware, the last couple of weeks, we've had 3 house fires in our community. The most tragic struck last Thursday. At about 1:30 p.m. on Thursday, our dispatch center was inundated with 911 calls reporting a house fire on Pershing and North Broadway. Our first officers responded and arrived within a minute of the initial call. They were met with neighbors that were at the residence. Luckily, the neighbor who is a relative, the uncle of 2 children that were later found or helped bring out 2 children, was able to bring them out. The neighbors and family were frantic in reporting that there was several other people still inside the house. The house was fully charged with smoke, flames inside. Officers tried to go in through the front door. It was too hot to go in through the front. They went to a side window where the children tried to escape and had partially collapsed outside, halfway hanging out the window. And that's where the uncle was able to help, along with another passerby, to rescue the 2 young children and get them out of the house. Officers tried to make entry into the back of the house. They were frantically trying to get to reports of other children still inside the house. Ultimately, they spent about 10 minutes inside the smoke-filled house, crawling through, trying to find the children. The call was assisted by the Fremont County Sheriff's Office, obviously Riverton Fire Protection District, Fremont County Fire Protection District, former city employee, and neighbors and other people that helped during this tragic event. Ultimately, Macy Bowlesby was found after our firemen tried to, they went through the flames, was able to bring her outside. She was transported to a local hospital along with the 2 children. She was ultimately pronounced deceased at the hospital. The 2 children are still, from what I understand, undergoing several surgeries for burns all over their bodies. And the fire is still under investigation as the state is assisting on helping find the cause of this fire. Your Honor, we would like to come before the council soon once we can gather everyone that did help at this tragic event. It's not so much as what they did or what they didn't do, as what were they willing to do that day. As I said, the fires are still under investigation. There'll be more announced later, but I think a common theme is have smoke detectors. I can't overemphasize that. A total of 10 police department employees are involved in either entering into the burning building or caring for the children. And with that, Your Honor, I'll kind of be limited and like to come at a later time to fully recognize, appropriately recognize all those that helped that day.
We appreciate it, Chief. Thank you. I guess keep us updated as to how things go. We'll make sure we're praying for the kids and everybody affected by it, but certainly appreciate the quick action of our police department, fire department, everybody that was involved. And I know citizens that were involved in helping out and getting that notified and everything, so.
Yes, Your Honor.
But we'll look forward to hearing a full report later and recognition for those who were involved, so.
Yes.
Thank you. I have my comments then to make. Was able to recently recognize Arbor Day. We had the tree board that had decided some locations to plant some trees in J.C. Park. Something I look forward to every year. Enjoyed participating in that, read a proclamation for that. Those things are required for us to remain a Tree City, USA. Also had the chance to attend the Boys and Girls Club recognition for Cody and Crystal Myers. And gee, that was just a great event, well attended, and appreciated the opportunity to speak about them. Cody Myers was a long time SRO for Riverton, so I think we're going to take credit for some of his recognition for employing him. I'm just kidding, but Cody and Crystal are excellent people who have done a lot for the youth in our community, both, of course, as an SRO here and Shoshone, and also with the program that he does with rodeo for youth, which has been incredible, I think. Also had the opportunity to attend a Region 4 virtual meeting. Just recently, Region 4 for WHAM. A lot of different things going on with the legislature there. Good opportunity to attend with them. We do have if you recall, I'm on the WHAM board, so we have a meeting next week over in Lander. Next week? The week after? I'll have to look at my calendar. It's coming up. So, going to be attending that, and we'll keep you posted as to anything that comes out of that. Also had the opportunity to attend yesterday, all the academic awards for a lot of our Riverton High School students. Was a lot of fun. Got to see a lot of students I know and some students who are here in the audience right now who received recognition for things like an academic letter, that kind of thing. So congratulations to you. Well done. And there may or may not be recognition deserved for our Riverton Youth Council Chair, who was recently recognized for Academic All-American, which, if you're familiar with that, is the top 1% to 2% of students in the United States that get recognized for that. And so very proud of Royce Hancock, who is probably texting me right now.
Yep.
Very proud of him for receiving that recognition, and proud of everyone who's been working very hard for the high school, and we have some great students. All right, we'll move on. Citizens' comments right now. Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council regarding an item that's scheduled for a public hearing will be given an opportunity during that public hearing to speak. If there's something that's not scheduled for a public hearing, you could come up and speak now. It's as you like. Even if it's not scheduled for a public hearing, I try to give people an opportunity to come up and speak. We don't, I guess, stand by a lot of ceremony when it comes to making sure that people can be heard. It's always made sense to me to have people come up when an agenda item is called rather than making you come up now. So if there's an agenda item you want to speak about, just get my attention. I'll let you speak then. If there's something that's not on the agenda that you want to speak about, this would be the time to come up and address the council. In either event, would ask that when you come up to the mic, say your name, tell us any organization that you're with. If you're a part of a group, you can speak, but split up the time with your group to take no longer than 10 minutes, and as an individual, take no longer than 5 minutes. But in either event, would ask you to avoid, keep decorum, as we might usually call it, during the meeting, please. So address all comments and questions to me. That's just parliamentary procedure. Refrain from making comments of a personal nature regarding another person's character, conduct, personal criticism, ridicule, name calling, that sort of thing. Avoid fighting words, other language that might be disruptive to the meeting. And if you're going to speak during an agenda item, please keep your comments directed to that agenda item and don't go off track. So, if you want to speak, right now would be the time. We'll give you 5 minutes for it. We've got a timer here that you'll be able to keep track of your time, and I'll let you know when it's over if you want. But you could also speak during the time an agenda item is called. So if you'd like to come up, please come up now, or wait until a little later if you want. Okay. I don't see anyone rushing the podium. Next up, we have our consent agenda. Ms. Harris, could you please read the consent agenda items?
Yes, Your Honor. Minutes of the April 21st, 2026 regular council meeting, minutes of the May 5th, 2026 Finance Committee meeting, Finance Committee recommendations from May 5th, 2026, municipal court report for the month of April 2026.
And Councilman Carr, if you could give us your recommendation from the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Finance Committee met at 6:47 this evening and recommend consideration of claims to be paid in the amount of $806,840.08. Payroll and liabilities for April 17th and May 1st, 2026 in the amount of $525,646.93 for a total of $1,332,487.01.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Larson with the motion, Councilwoman Johnson with the second. Any discussion? Are you still with us, Councilwoman Borders?
I'm here.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. Real Estate Services Contract Agreement. Mr. Butterfield, how about you tell us about this item?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a follow-up to an item from your last meeting. HomeSource Realty was selected to provide professional real estate services to the city of Riverton. They have provided a contract for your consideration. That contract is very similar to the just recently expired contract. It will run for 4 years, and staff does recommend that you approve this and the mayor be authorized to execute it. We do have a representative from HomeSource Realty here if you do have questions, but it is staff's recommendation that you move forward with this contract.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to approve the agreement with HomeSource Realty for professional real estate services and authorize myself to execute the contract.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Councilman Larson with the motion, Councilwoman Brothers with the second. Any other discussion? You have anything to say, Mr. Piplica? Go ahead and come on up. Yeah.
Your Honor, do we have any problems with agency on this, George?
George Piplica, HomeSource Realty. So under this listing, we're the seller's agent, so we represent the city. We're proud to do that. Mayor, Your Honor, thank you. Council, thank you. Staff, thank you. This is the third term of this listing, and started, 8, 10 years ago with 20-some lots, and then 18, and then 16, and 9. We're down to the final 4 lots. So hopefully that will get that done in this time. They're all on Piper Drive. They're all pretty much similar size. We did make a recommendation in your new listing to drop one of the lots down in value a little bit because it has a bigger easement and encroachment in it to make them all the very same basic square foot price. So we just mostly wanted to say thank you for the opportunity, and we're proud to be a part of working with the city.
Appreciate your hard work with it.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Keep it up. Anything else? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed,
Aye.
say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. All right, next up, because we are going out of order from what was printed in the agenda and I modified it a little bit, we've got the Riverton Youth Council fiscal year 27 goals. Hold on, before y'all come up here. Let Mr. Butterfield introduce it real quick, and then you can invade. Go ahead, Mr. Butterfield.
Your Honor, I'll be very brief. We're so thankful for the youth council members and for what they do for our community. And every time I attend a meeting with them, I find myself energized and I enjoy being in their presence. In March of 2026, the youth council participated in a facilitated working session led by our very own Gary Michaud, our community development director. And from that facilitated working session, the council focused on identifying priorities and refining the mission for the council and establishing actionable goals into the upcoming fiscal year. Following that session, the youth council met several times and honed down what they have finalized as their fiscal year 27 goals. And with that, I think they could speak better on behalf of the goals that they would like to communicate to you. So thank you, Your Honor, and we appreciate what they are doing.
All right, sounds good. And I guess you want to come up and speak, right? Yes. Okay, how about you come on up then? As you come up, if we could have one of you just introduce everyone there, and then this looks like our full council.
No, we're missing some people. We're missing Mark Brown and
Yep, Tarek.
And Tyranny, yeah.
And Tyranny, yes. And by the way, she was recognized last night too.
All right, so it is pretty much everybody. We have Braden Thacker.
I forgot my name.
I almost did too, Braden, so it's.
Oh, oh.
Aurora Valdez, Capri Miller, Caitlin Bauer, James Pearson, Hunter Masters, and Danny Earp. And we have this big thing, so it's kind of like your list here, except it's better. And just kidding. And so we kind of split it up. So we'll just go down, and I think Aurora, do you want to start us off?
Okay.
So one of the first goals that we wanted to really prioritize was our public engagement, and I'm the public relations officer for the Youth Council. So with public relations, we had like 3 main ideas with that. So increase youth council visibility on like social media and local media. So maintaining consistent presence on like our social media platforms. So our Instagram, which has been definitely a little bit of a struggle, but so far we're doing pretty good, and we're definitely kind of getting into the groove of that. And then sharing information with County 10 and the Ranger for like relevant information. Like we did that with Snow Angels, and we've done it a couple of times, kind of just like making sure that we're continuing that. And then this is kind of like a new one that we want to implement, which is focus on clear messaging about what we are for Youth Council, kind of just like better advertising, especially on that social media, and trying to get in new members. We also wanted to regularly share updates, events, and accomplishments. So kind of just like almost what I mentioned earlier, kind of just like using our Instagram and like the Ranger and that sort of thing to keep updates about what we're doing, highlighting the activities that we're doing, and like how kind of just our outcome, like what we're actually doing, our impact, and then keeping everything kind of simple, timely, consistent, so that people can understand quickly and easily. And then creating opportunities for community feedback and youth input. So this is also kind of like a new idea for our Instagram. So making it more accessible for people to give us their input, specifically youth, kind of just like their ideas, and encourage community engagement through that. And then, yeah, use that feedback to guide us for future goal setting meetings and just like our year.
Thank you, Ms. Valdez.
Okay, so our next biggest one that we were talking about was to promote youth community service, which I had presented this idea. I'm the community engagement coordinator, so my whole job kind of revolves around bringing youth council out into the community and making sure that the community knows about us, specifically through service. So we had like 3 main like points around it. It was develop a centralized calendar of community service opportunities in partnership with local nonprofits, service groups, and Riverton High School. So currently we have a calendar that I've made for just the youth council, where I've been keeping track of some projects that we've done, like Rotary cleanup and ball gowns and badges, and that's where we put down volunteers. So then if I ever need to like give people head counts, then I can put the head count on, send it out. I think in the future we are trying to, like, through our social media, we're going to like kind of send out things that are like, oh, this is a great service opportunity, so other youth can get involved outside of just us. And then our other part was track and promote volunteer hours and participation among Riverton Youth Council members. So right now I have a log that's active, and it has all of our names on it, and then it has like our events that we have done and are doing, and then we just put down the amount of hours that were in it, and it's going to like total up our amount of hours. And we're trying to make sure that our council is very active in serving our community, and part of that is keeping track of it. And then we're probably going to just like encourage each other to do it by keeping track of that and seeing who can get the most. So maybe a little like friendly competition amongst all of us. So, and there might be a little special treat at the end that I might give someone for the most. Yeah, we don't know for sure about that yet. But and then it says increase youth council involvement in ongoing and one-time service projects. So that would be things like the Rotary cleanup, making sure that we can continue to do that because that was a really great thing for us to do. And then just future projects that we can be involved in, and just really make sure that the community knows about us and knows that we are very willing to help out and serve.
Are you keeping track of service hours? I know that sometimes for scholarships, different things like that, it's helpful to have service hours.
Yeah, that's what our log has right now. So not everyone has used it so far. We're still kind of like, it's like active, but we just need to get better about using it right now. But yeah, we do have that, and it's in our drive, and it has all of the events and hours. So.
And Your Honor, what they'd like to do is when they present at the end of the year, they want to kind of just break it down, not per person. They don't want to call anybody out, like, you know, James didn't do any service, which is, he does a lot, so that's why I can call him out for that. But, you know, they want to say like, in total, you know, the youth council did this many hours. They want to be able to say that. There's no requirement, and that's what I love about it, because they're able to just do this of their own free will, you know? And then they can say at the end of the year, they can say, this is how many hours in total. They want to be able to present that to you. So that's one of the reasons why, you know,
Right.
that we're doing it.
Good. And what was your name, young lady?
Capri Miller.
I know that, but I just.
She's
Aurora
joking
did very-
because that's who you were early.
That's who
who.
Councilwoman Johnson was earlier.
She
No,
represented you well.
I just wanted to make sure that people who are listening know who you are, so.
Okay.
Aurora did very well at introducing herself when she came up.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm James Pearson. She's my mom. She's awesome. Another thing is, well, we all like field trips, right? Yeah, we all like field trips. Okay, so we were planning a field trip to Cheyenne. So, like, to go and learn about government and stuff like that, because why not? Government's cool. And just prepare ourselves to go engage in this experience and have fun, learn about government. Field trips, because they're cool. That's about it for this, because it's here it says make a formal budget request to City Administrator Butterfield. I don't know much about that.
Well,
But
I'll,
I like
Your Honor,
field trips, so
Your Honor, I'll fill in. Let's tag team. Okay? Stay up there.
Okay.
One of the great things that, you know, Gary had this good idea. So one of our goals for doing, you know, youth council is to make sure that we have this group of future leaders, because, you know, one day we aren't going to be here and they will. And they get this chance to learn about civic engagement. What is it like, you know, what is it like at the Capitol? And then what is it like to put in a formal budget request to do this? And so that's one of the things we thought that they could do. So they've already worked with Representative Larson, and next on the list, young Mr. Masters over there has this idea. We're going to be working with Reed Rassner, who's running for Congress. And one of the things the kids are going to talk to him about is like, because it's an election year, what's it all about running for office? Because guess what? Some of you are going to do that now that you're kind of on track learning about civic engagement. So all of this, you know, with Gary and Kyle and Reed and everything is all about, you know, one of the main goals of Riverton Youth Council, which is civic engagement. So there you go, Mr. Pearson.
or if that was confusing, field trip.
Okay, so the request will be, though, for that field trip to be paid by the city. Is that what the formal budget request would be then?
Probably.
That would be a yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
I appreciate that you're here, Mr. Pearson. You were here before anybody else was.
Because Mom was.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay, thank you. Who's up next?
Good evening. La la la. Excuse me, I had to do a lot this evening. Good evening, council members. My name's Danny Erb. I'd say the odd duck out of everyone. One of the other goals is to engage younger children into civics. I don't know about any of these guys because, you know, they're pretty awesome at, you know, government and civics, but I've had this huge fear of, like, not fear, but anxiety about government, civics, whatnot, because I didn't understand it. So we were hoping to create opportunities to introduce children, like middle school, maybe even younger, into civics, and get them into just more of like community involvement to see how a chamber such as this is run, and understand that it's not as taunting as it may look sometimes. But yeah, just kind of help them and understand what chambers like this do, how they're run, and just overall hoping to give them a pathway into government and civics, just like we've been given this opportunity to be in civics and government. But yeah,
Well, that's
pretty much
great.
it.
Appreciate it. Any questions for Ms. Erb? Thanks, Danny.
Thank you for not calling me Brittany.
You're welcome. I know that's your sister.
Hi, my name's Brain Thacker, and I've been with the Youth Council for a little bit now. I'm actually the newest member, as most of you know. We want to form a Library Riverton Youth Council Committee, which we have, and we've been working towards getting in more connection with them, and specifically with our entire plan is to engage students within Riverton High School within the Riverton branch library, since they have a lot of room, they have a lot of potential, and we want to harvest that because we want to engage the youth once more into the community of Riverton. There's many different events from existing clubs we could do, new clubs we could create. During our most recent library meeting, some of the people on the current library committee did mention different clubs. I think James mentioned a Lego robotics club, if I'm right, and just many other great ideas. And I think this is something moving towards. People in this town always say, like, there's nothing to do. We have nothing to do here. We're so bored. And now we're going to give them something to do, especially within youth specifically. And so if they say that there's nothing to do in Riverton, then it's just a hole that they dug themselves. So it's not aggressive. It's very passive. We're supportive. It's okay. So it's okay to not have anything to do. So, but overall, we just want to do this because we want to engage the youth once more within the Riverton community, and we can do that very efficiently by creating new clubs, creating new organizations that the branch library has a lot of opportunity, and they have money on the table to be able to do that. So that'll be something very useful. Are there any questions about that? Or
I don't think so. Thank you, Mr. Thacker. You could have gone to the other side.
Hello, I'm Caitlin Bauer, and as the Secretary of the Youth Council, I've noticed while creating my minutes that there are certain parts of our meetings that could very much be improved. So I thought of the idea of a goal as creating more efficient meetings. So it helps us get through our agenda items because I've definitely noticed at some points our roundtable is very long and it should definitely be shortened so it gives more time to the agenda items. And especially as we grow as a youth council, we will be a part of more projects and we will be able to help more. So we should have more time set aside to discuss that instead of it all being spent on things that don't necessarily need that time. So I think it will definitely help to run more efficient meetings so we can establish like time limits like what you guys have. And so then we're mirroring the council even more, which I think will definitely be very helpful.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Ms. Bauer.
Any questions?
You do good work. I will tell you, I've attended your meetings, and I think it's very solidly 1 hour. I think that efficiency is great, but I don't know if you've attended any of our meetings until the end. We've sometimes been here since midnight, or till midnight. But it's a good goal. And if you don't set a goal, you're not going to keep it, right? So, good deal. Anything else?
Not particularly. I'm not sure if you guys have received official copies of this. If so, we might get a hold of that later. Do you have, like...
We have it in our packet.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We've been following along. Putting little notes in where there's additions.
But did you catch the part about the fields, brother?
Okay.
We got it. Okay.
Basically came here to beg you for money.
So,
No, we're not.
one of the biggest things is that technically this really isn't like a final draft. I mean, it could be, but it's kind of what we wanted to be as a final draft moreover. But it was really up for a lot of consideration. Like if there was anything you guys would want to tweak, then that's also something that we would most definitely invite you guys to do.
I think these areas are great areas to be in. The only thing that I would say is it's a lot to be working on at the same time. But we also know that from experience because we tend to set a lot of goals too, and they get hard. So I don't know, does anyone have any suggestions or anything? I mean, we could vote to approve the goals, or we could just say they sound great. I think you being a body yourselves, there's no reason that we would have to approve them if you want to have them. They're your goals. If we think they're taking you somewhere drastically off task. I mean, we don't want to have the Riverton Youth Council just be a service club. I appreciate that you're doing a lot of service, and that's excellent. I think civic engagement, as Councilwoman Brothers said, is the goal, but service is a part of civic engagement. So, and I think the idea of keeping track of hours is excellent. Any other feedback?
I've got some, if I can, and I appreciate what you guys are doing, and I think you're doing a good job at it. If I could offer any advice at all, professionalism and decorum, professional dress is important, and it's probably something that can be looked at, reviewed. It makes what you're presenting and what you're asking for seem more reachable, if that makes sense. So that's some advice that I would give you. I would say, as far as funding goes, until it's a little bit more stable and putting them in that kind of position, I wouldn't. I want them to learn before they put themselves in those positions to go. What am I trying to say? When you can present yourself in a little bit more professional manner, I think that you will get more out of it. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to be critical. I'm just trying to give some good advice. That's it.
Your Honor, I will say,
Brothers?
every single one of them knows how to dress professionally, right? Speech and debate every weekend.
Yep.
They know how to do it. Doing it, making sure they do it is important, and knowing when to do it is important. But every single one of them has a suit, dress. Caitlin's doing it right now, But every single one of them knows how to do it. And a lot of times when you guys do show up, you're wearing, like a lot of times, yes, you are showing up, I noticed, dressed appropriately. I know a lot of you were coming from different things tonight, so that was an issue. Because I got emails and stuff saying, like, oh my gosh, we're going to be late. But so I know that was an issue. But every single one of you knows how to do it. So that is, the knowledge is there. So.
And I will say, we appreciate a little bit of the levity, the jovial nature of the council, but I will say there's definitely a time for it and a time not, right? And we all know that, so. Good feedback, appreciate it. Councilman Carr?
Thank you, Your Honor. Just real quick, I attended your last meeting, as some of you were there, and I was exceptionally impressed. The meeting went well. Your discussion was very pointed and direct, so well done. Excellent job. I'm super happy with all of the ideas that have been presented. One of my only suggestions would be start reading the code, maybe to see what things you'd like to see changed in state or in state statute. Well, do that too. But in city ordinance, maybe there are things that you would like to see changed for future generations. So look into that. And then on your goals, it's always beneficial to at least have a quarterly review of that. What gets measured gets improved. So if you can go back quarterly and say, ooh, how did we do on goal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? That's always a fantastic idea. But again, can't say enough, I will steal Mr. Butterfield's word when he said energized. After the meeting, it was exceptionally fun to look back on that experience and all of your discussions. So thank you very much. Well done. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, and Your Honor, on that note, Gary said that we will be putting the goals on every single agenda. That's one of the things that we will be doing, so that they review those every single time. So you are correct on that, so that they can look at that every single time. How are we doing? How are we doing? So thank you for bringing that up.
Well, you are definitely, and I said this when I swore you all in, right? You're framing what you're going to be doing going forward. You're figuring it out. You're setting the tone for the future, for what this council's going to look like, and you've been setting a pretty good tone for it. So would definitely encourage you to keep it up. All right. Do we want a motion to approve this, or just kind of let them adopt it? I mean, the point is, I think the point of presenting it to us is to make sure we don't have any issue with it in terms of the direction they're going. So if we don't have any issue with where they're wanting to go, then go.
Go forth.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, council. Councilman.
Okay. All right. Council people. All right, thank you, young ladies and young men, and thank you for introducing yourselves to us again.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we're at 8:15. Our next item is the utility item. We have kids that have early bedtimes. I'm just kidding. Why don't we go ahead and take a quick break? 8:16, 8:25, is that long enough, you think? Okay, let's go ahead and be in recess until 8:25. All right, we're at 8:25, back from recess. Next item on the agenda is previous item 15, now 16, but on your agenda, it's item 15. Public hearing and consideration of resolutions 1549, 1550, 1551, utility rate adjustments. Mr. Butterfield, if you could please tell us about this item.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you, and I'm happy to also involve members of our team because they've put a lot of work towards this. Each year by Riverton Municipal Code, the City Council has opportunity to review and discuss the utility rates that are assessed for the support of our enterprise funds. That's what you have opportunity to do tonight. In working with members of our team, it is proposed through resolutions 1549, 1550, and 1551 to increase the current utility rates by 2.5%. With that brief overview, I would like to defer to Ms. Harris, who has done a lot of work on this, and I think it's appropriate that she has opportunity to speak on it as well.
Thank you. Ms. Harris, please.
Thank you. I wanted to just clarify a little bit about the utilities. The Water, Sewer, and Sanitation Fund operate as enterprise funds, meaning that they're not supported by tax revenue. So often we hear, I pay my taxes, and this is what what some folks understand this to cover. Instead, the costs are funded through user fees, which must cover operations, maintenance, ongoing capital purchases, and also debt service coverage. So it's just a long-term system investment as part of what we use to generate our rates and determine our rates. Regular rate reviews are an important part of keeping a healthy balance, and our last rate adjustment occurred in April of 2025. The city continues to face significant capital demands across all three systems. Much of our infrastructure is aging, undersized, and constructed with outdated materials. And several projects are either underway or planned in the next upcoming budget years. Since July of 2022, the city has invested over $8.4 million in utility infrastructure, with an additional $42 million in needs anticipated through 2032. Our funding partners have consistently communicated to us that incremental rate adjustments are critical to remaining competitive for grant and loan opportunities as well. Much of our infrastructure is covered through both grant and loan, and they've definitely stressed that we need to make sure that we're being proactive in keeping our rates consistent to keep up with our facilities. While the enterprise funds remain stable for day-to-day operations, the ongoing capital pressures, particularly in water and wastewater, make continued moderate rate increases necessary. Included in your packet this evening is a history of prior rate adjustments, the proposed changes by meter and container size, and sample billing impacts. The proposed 2.5% increase would take effect with the May 2026 billing cycle. For the average customer, this represents an increase of approximately 64 cents per month for water, 52 cents for wastewater, and 87 cents for sanitation, for a total monthly impact of about $2.08, plus any usage-based charges that they may have. Based on the fiscal year 26 projections, the proposed adjustments are expected to generate approximately $77,000 in the water fund, $67,000 in wastewater, and $64,000 in the sanitation fund annually. With that, staff would recommend approval of the 2.5% increase for all three funds, and I would be happy to answer any further questions you may have.
Thank you. Ms. Harris, if you could, though, before you get too far away, read resolutions 1549, 1550, and 1551 by title only.
Yes, Your Honor.
Public hearing.
Proposed resolution number 1549, a resolution adjusting the amount of user fees for the City of Riverton water system. Proposed resolution number 1550, a resolution adjusting the amount of user fees for the City of Riverton wastewater system. And proposed resolution number 1551, a resolution adjusting rates for the collection and disposal of garbage, rubbish, and debris.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Larson, second by Councilman Carr. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. I declare the public hearing open. Hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statutes, other applicable laws. Ask individuals wishing to address the council, approach the podium, identify yourself for the record. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak?
Seeing none, Your Honor, I'd move to close the public
I
hearing.
think we do have someone.
Oh, holy cow.
Good.
Try not to jump the gun.
Evening, Council. Chancey Wolzeski, local citizen. I was here last year and spoke briefly last week or 2 weeks ago when the agenda item was moved. Last year we had a conversation, and my follow-up that I have for you this year is pertains to that question, which was how many projects did we have open at that time and how many projects do we have open now? Are we making progress or are we falling behind?
Appreciate it. I don't know if we'd want to do this after the motions, or do we want to just do this now? I'm good either way. It probably makes sense while you're up here. If you could, let us know kind of where we're at with projects that are open, and, I mean, what sort of difference did the increase last year make is, I think, one of the questions we have.
Your Honor, I can answer or help to answer that question. In the sanitation fund is one of the simplest ones. Obviously, there was a street sweeper that was purchased in that fund, but there are 9 projects that were undertaken in that fund for a total of $520,000 in capital projects last year. The sewer and water fund, if you combine them, because some of those projects are in sewer and water, similar to the Spruce Street project, which takes care of sewer lines and water lines in the intersection, or in the Spruce and then Pine areas, a lot of which is grant funded. But between those 2 projects, there's 26 total, or 2 funds, excuse me, there's 26 total projects that are being undertaken currently. The total cost in those projects, and some will carry into the next fiscal year, but some will be completed in this last fiscal year, but there's just over $5.9 million worth of projects. That's matched with only $1.1 million of city funds. It's about a 5 times increase on the city funds to what kind of projects are undertaken. I mentioned the Spruce Street project. The city is going out to procure a new hydrovac excavation truck. This truck also is used to clean sewer systems throughout the city, which we're asked to clean every 7 years as we kind of rotate through the city. So this is over $650,000 piece of equipment, and the city is matching SRF funding with a 25% grant on the funding, and then would be able to pay that over a 10-year time period too. So just one other project we're undertaking. There are some others I can list off as well, so if that helps.
And then what are some of the plans, I guess, this upcoming year that we have going on?
Absolutely, Your Honor. In the upcoming year, one of the larger projects will be the West Main Street Waterline project. It's just over 2 miles of water line that will be repaired. This is a project that was identified with the master plan in 2024. This is a water transmission main line. These transmission main lines are enabled to be funded through Wyoming Water Development, which funds these projects at 50%. And so this project is around an $8 million project. With that master plan, then it did recommend that we have over, in just the water side, for instance, we do have over 100 miles of water line, 103 miles. And with new materials, the length of a water line that goes into the ground, the useful life is about 100 years. So if you figure you replace those 103 miles in 100 years, you need to replace about a mile of water line a year. We're a little behind because we do have some older lines in the ground, such as transite, cast iron that's been around for over 80 plus years, and it's failing daily. So we've gone down the last 5 years from about 8 breaks per year to about 3 or 4 breaks per year that we're able to take care of. And that's because we've been a little bit more preventative on taking care of a lot of the water lines that have broken in the past. So that's one project. Other projects include the wastewater treatment plant. We'll get a new UV room plus a new clarifier. This is about a $2.8 million project. $2.6 million of that is grant funded and not matched by city funds. There's the so a couple other items there too. I just have a list in front of me, and some of these. So the water treatment plant has the water treatment plant tank will be rehabilitated. I don't believe that this tank has ever had an interior coating since it's been in service. It's sorely needed. It was just put to bid. That's an over $700,000 project. Just over $600,000 is grant funded of that project. There's one vehicle that will be replaced. This replaces a 2009 Ford with over 100,000 miles. And then there's also Aspen Street water line. It's broken multiple times in the past 10 years even. A lot of patches throughout the street. It's in need of repair throughout the entire length of the water line. Staff's recommended to put over $100,000 set aside to repair that line. I'm afraid that won't be enough, so we'll reach out for grant funding to try to come back and repair that line as well. And then also update the fire hydrants throughout that location. So those are a few of the projects that we're looking at moving forward.
Anything else, Mr. Wazeski? If
Not to be blunt, but learning about some of the projects that we're working on doesn't really address my concern. I believe the number that was thrown out last year was 109 active projects. And I believe the clarifier at this treatment plant was one of those projects that was listed last year. So that alone indicates little progress. So without knowing where that 109 number stands today, did we make any progress over the last year? Or are we just putting off like we have been on the water lines?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, you've got a balance, of course, between deferred maintenance, right, where we're not going to be taking care of something because we don't have the money to take care of it right now, and trying to prioritize. So, yeah.
Your Honor, I can't speak to the 109 open projects, but the water treatment plant project is a project that will be going into year 3. The first year typically is funding is procured. The second year, then the project's identified and then bid out. And then in the third year, oftentimes it's in those bigger projects it's completed. So we like to keep that a little tighter, but that's kind of how that project moved along.
We did talk about the clarifier last year, so tell me, I guess, specifically about that.
The clarifier project itself. In 2024, the fall of 2024, funding was procured, and then shortly after that, we worked to procure an engineer to identify the necessary upgrades at the plant. Once the engineer identified those, within about 6 months or so, they were able to put together the first project, and then utilizing the available funding, and then take on that project. So, at those kind of at over $500,000 projects, then sometimes getting the funding, it becomes the harder part than doing the project. So now we're in construction right now. So
Finally.
Yeah,
Talking about the clarifier for a bit.
Oh, now, yeah, about a year and a half later. Yep.
Sorry, you're welcome to continue if you have any other questions. I hear.
No more questions that I think I'll be able to get an answer from. So just a parting comment. I think the people would appreciate not just seeing their rates go up and knowing that it costs money to operate a city. I think everyone understands that. But I think the people would appreciate some metric of progress.
I hear you. And I will say, one of the things that's unique about the utility rates is when you have taxes that are based on how much you're making, right? That's something where if the economy is improving in some form or fashion, you're going to see those taxes increase. So depending on where the economy is going, you're going to have an increase in sales tax, you're going to have an increase in property tax, that kind of thing. Utility rates don't work that way, right? Unless you have an increase, it's not something that goes up with the economy. So that's one of the reasons why we're kind of stuck every year having to say, what do we need to do to make sure we can kind of keep up with the way things are going when all the prices and everything go up? But I appreciate the thought in terms of wanting to know some more exacts, and there's no reason you can't come and ask, and I understand what you're saying, Mr. Wazowski. I'm sorry, Wazeski. Did I get it right?
Close enough.
Dadgummit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wazeski.
Your Honor, just a real quick comment. I would highly suggest reading the water master plan that was produced in, I believe, 2021. That is a comprehensive game plan for all of the projects that the city of Riverton is trying to accomplish under perfect conditions. That does not include any projects that come up under an emergency type nature. So oftentimes, as we're following the master plan line, which also details funding scenarios for each one of those projects, when emergencies arise, that then defers, especially if it's critical line infrastructure, that defers that schedule of construction down the road because those funds have to be appropriated for the emergency situations. So if you want a game plan and a number of projects, read the water master plan. The only other items that I would probably discuss at this time would be, as we improve the water, the potable water side, then in turn, that wastewater improvement needs to also be made. And so as we improve the potable side of the water system, we are also improving the wastewater side, well, i.e. the clarifier, the UV disinfection projects. Those are huge projects for us. So that's it.
And,
Okay.
Your Honor, I would recommend reading the book, 13 Ways to Kill Your Community, because one of those ways is water. If we do not work on and make sure that the community does not have really good water, that is, in fact, one of the ways that we kill our community. And that is one of our very first responsibilities as a council. And because the taxpayer money doesn't pay for some of these projects, we have to look at that. Not only that, but also aren't grants tied to some of this too? Yeah, so if we do not do this, we don't get that grant money as well. So I want to acknowledge that no one likes seeing those rates go up. It's not like we'd like that. That's not something we like, okay? But it has been shown in other communities when you don't do it, in similar communities very close to us, when you do not do this, because they do not have the guts to do it, okay? They see not good water, okay? And then they have to do it very large rate increases 5 years later, where they're looking at $40, very large rate increases. Okay, so if you delay them, and then the infrastructure's broken or bad, hey, if we stay on top of it, we have the best crew ever. Our city crew is amazing. So while this is a modest increase, staying ahead of the problem, this is what we must do. This is the most responsible, I think that's the word, is the responsible thing to do. So thank you, Brendan, for taking care of that, for taking care of our city, and doing the responsible thing, even though it's not something that we like to see happen. It's a great thing, so thank you.
Ron.
Okay, I guess, just so we're not getting too far out of order, is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak regarding utility rates? And we can move on to more council discussion. I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Larson with the motion, Councilman Carr with the second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. I declare the public hearing closed. So let's start with the water fund. I'd entertain a motion to adopt Resolution 1549.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Larson, second by Councilman Carr. Councilman Larson.
Your Honor, was that figure right? $2.83 per user? Was that right?
Your Honor, Councilman Larson, it's $2.08. It's for the average user. Our rates are based on water line size and meter size. And so the majority of our customers, 3/4 of our customers are all residential water users. So I based it on the average user, and it would be $2. And I have my glasses on now, $2.03.
$2.03?
Yes.
Now, that's per month or year or what period?
Councilmember Larson, it's per month, and that's for the base rate. So if you're looking at usage charges as well, and I've provided the information in your council packet, but the rate increase for water usage is going to be 8 cents per 1,000 gallons, up to 5,999, and then it's 9 cents per 1,000 gallons for any water above that for the in-city water rate. For sewer, the proposed rate increase for the usage would be 10 cents per 1,000 gallons.
Okay.
And that's regardless of meter size. That's just usage, and that is the same price across the board, regardless of meter size.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, so this is Resolution 1549, supporting a 2.5 increase to the water fund. We had a rate study done. Are we outside of the recommendations from the rate study now, or was that just 2.5% till the end of eternity, or?
Your Honor, the rate study recommended a 3% increase. The 2.5% that's proposed actually ties back to the more recent water master plan that Councilman Carr referenced.
Which was more of on a 2.5% rate?
And the 2.5 increase was from the recent water master plan study.
But that's not taking into account anything that could happen with the economy. I mean, I know previously, for example, we had been making increases that were based on whatever the cost of living increase was, kind of in terms of how that was indexed for the year. And I'm talking many years ago. Probably about when you started, maybe, Mr. Butterfield. And then we had the rate study done. That kind of gave us a little bit of a benchmark. But this is now based on the most recent water master plan.
Your Honor, that's correct. Previously in the Riverton Municipal Code, the council had opportunity to review the consumer price index as it related to the cost of inflation for procuring materials and performing business. The council could also consider other variables as it related to capital construction needs or other operating needs. In, I believe it was 2019, that's when the city went out and had a consultant explore a rate study across all enterprise funds. And from that study, it was recommended to just keep up with inflationary aspects of running a utility system to annually increase at 3%. And then the council, I think, considered that for several years, but also, as I said, took into account other variables as it related to capital construction needs and emergency needs as well.
Well, and I remember, was it last year or the year before, there had actually been a recommendation to go higher than what had been recommended for water, just because where we were at with the water fund that year.
Your Honor.
Councilwoman Johnson?
I'll be the unpopular opinion up here tonight. I understand the need. I understand that we have miles of water line that need to be replaced. I understand that we have to have clean water to get to our citizens, but there's also, this is a fine line that we have to also look at. There's a certain humility that goes with this as well, and people are struggling. May not be everybody. But the increase in costs that people face every month just to have that clean water to their house, it comes at a cost. And not everybody can afford it. And we see that every week in the report that comes out and the amount of shutoffs and the non-payments. And sometimes I think people just need a break. And when we're not offering additional services, and in fact, I've seen and heard and talked to several people this week about the services they receive. I was one of them, not getting full services and being charged for it. So I'm not going to support it tonight. I think that the community could use a break. We've raised the rates for the last 5 years, I think it is. I think it's the last 5 years, 5 or 6 years, consistently. And I don't see where the rate increase is going to complete any one of these projects. It's going to help, but I don't see where it's going to complete it. So I'm going to err on the side of a little bit of humility tonight and not support it.
Okay.
Your Honor, does the city have any program that helps people out whenever they're at risk for their water shutting off?
Where are we at with that?
Yes, Mayor, Councilmember Brothers, we don't have a specific program to assist people with paying their bills, but we do offer payment arrangements for folks who are behind or unable to pay their bill before shutting them off. They're asked to contact our office. We do allow 3 payment arrangements per year for that. We do hold property owners responsible for any unpaid bills left by tenants. To help protect the property owner in that regard, we collect a $150 deposit up front from the renter, which is refundable to them at the time that the water services are shut off. When a service is scheduled for a shut-off or a tenant is late on a bill, the owner does receive a notification because they are being ultimately held responsible. And when a tenant wishes to make a payment arrangement on a utility bill, we do that for all property owners and tenants. We do as well. We just require the permission of the property owner to allow them to extend that bill out for a longer period of time.
I think that, thank you, Mia. I think that that's maybe what we need to do. We should fix our water thing, but maybe look at maybe grants or federal grants or state grants. I don't know if there is anything. You would be the one, because you're so smart about that, that could help with that situation or problem. If we're having that would be what we need to do instead of not fixing our water problem. We could maybe look at a program that would help those people. I know that's a separate issue and problem, but maybe that's something we could look at.
Thank you, Your Honor. We've also looked into, we've discussed internally the idea of coming up with some sort of a roundup program. We're just still trying to work through the logistics about that and actually even having just the software capabilities of financially tracking that type of thing. But that's definitely been something that's been discussed.
I would love to help with that if you guys want some help.
Councilman Larson?
Your Honor.
Councilwoman Borders, I'll let Councilman Larson go first, and then you right after that, if you don't mind.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You bet. We can hear you very well now. Thank you. Thank you to our wonderful
Good.
IT staff who got that sorted out.
Absolutely.
The discussion on water usage and the cost of maintaining water is a closely watched by the legislature. Anytime you have the ability to charge and you don't, when you go to the legislature and ask them for help, you get turned down. Town, they tell you, you've passed your opportunity up by being benevolent. Now, it comes to mind fires in California, empty reservoirs, pipelines not fixed, mayors somewhere where they shouldn't be. And the thing is, when there's a fire, the fire department depends upon that fire suppression line working. And everybody pays homeowners insurance that lives in Fremont County. And the better off we are, the lower our rates are. And if we don't maintain adequate delivery systems, adequate pumps, if we don't take care of it, we're doing a malfeasance, whether we give people a break or not. The unfortunate thing is, you've got to put your big pants on and say, this is what is needed to do. And supporting the water fund, when I pay close to $1,800 a month in water fees for different properties that I own, I am so in love with not using water. But you just have to gird up your loins, and you're going to have to do it. There's other things that are going to have clean water. That's part of being a big city. Having a hospital is a big city. Having an airport's a big city. Having good sewer systems a big city. And that's just part of the deal. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Other discussion? Okay. Councilwoman Borders, I was not going to forget you.
Okay. I was waving my flag.
You did good.
So, I don't think people realize how much we wrestle with this as council members. And the last thing I want to do is see rates I'm a city water user too. These rates affect me as well. But the thing is, this is meant to be self-sustaining, and there are so many expenses, and the costs are increasing for this as well. It's not cheap to fix water pipes and sewers and things like that. So to me, $2.03 for the average user is not a bad deal. And I know people are hurting, and I totally understand that, but we have an obligation as council members to make sure this program remains solvent. Everybody wants clean water. They want to be able to flush their toilet and have it go away. They sure don't want it coming into their house. And I just think it's important that we follow this plan. And I know that's going to upset some people, and I'm sorry about that, but that's just my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Borders. All right. All in favor of passage of Resolution 1549, supporting a 2.5 increase to the water fund, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay.
Nay.
I vote aye. Motion passes. Next up, I'd entertain a motion to approve Resolution 1550, supporting a 2.5 increase to the wastewater fund.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Carr, second by Councilman Larson. Discussion on this one?
I think we wrestled that pig.
Well, and that's true. I mean, it's just, we've got to be talking about each of them individually. So I know we kind of sometimes lump it together, but the reality is these are three separate funds, three separate increases. And I will say there had been some discussion about this with someone saying, well, if it's 2.5 for one, 2.5 for one, 2.5 for one, that's 7.5. That's not the way the math works, just in case anybody's curious. Yeah, so wastewater fund, anything to add? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
Nay.
I vote aye. Motion passes. Last up, entertain a motion to adopt Resolution 1551, supporting a 2.5 increase to the sanitation fund.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Carr with the motion, Councilwoman Brothers with the second. Discussion on this one. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
Aye.
Nay.
Councilwoman Borders, I might have gone too fast. I just wanted to know if that was a registered aye vote or a nay vote.
It was aye.
Okay, thank you. I also vote aye on this one. Motion passes. Next up, downtown parking recommendation. Police chief's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. At the February 17th regular council meeting, a business owner on East Main requested the city council reinstate a 2-hour parking limit along Main Street corridor. And the distant history of Riverton, there had been parking meters installed in this section. They have since been removed, and parking reverted back to the existing no overnight type of parking. Members of the police department performed a survey where merchants along the affected section of this corridor were contacted
regarding this request. Merchants were asked a series of questions to determine if a change in the existing parking regulation needed to be changed. Currently, there are no overnight parking along East Main Street with signs posted for no parking between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. As part of the survey, the merchants, questions to the merchants included, on the average, how long do your customers stay at your establishment? Second, would you prefer to leave the parking in this area as is or change it? Next, they're asked if there was time limit parking, well, what should it be? Examples of either 20-minute temporary, 2 or 3 hour, and any other input they'd like to participate in the survey. Results of the survey are attached to this report. In summary, the results of the survey show that the majority of merchants along this corridor do not desire to make any changes at this time. There were several requests made during the survey to limit who would be allowed to park in the area, but enforcement of that would be difficult to enforce. Specifically, they only wanted customers to park on Main Street. There is a desire to add additional handicap parking in this area, but placing such parking along East Main does have limitations due to the narrow roadways and ADA requirements. For council information, I did have a couple of discussions with the Public Works Director, and there is some future expansion of parking along the side streets that we can see in the near future. For discussion, the council can review the survey and direct staff to perform additional research or accept the results of the survey and take no action. At this time, Your Honor, I'd stand for any questions or input and council direction.
All right, thank you. Any questions or? Appreciate you going through and doing this, Chief. Looks like we've got 3 blocks basically that we're looking at here.
Yes, Sean, just the main corridor.
And just where we tend to have a lot of the parking, right? You know, one of the things that I thought was interesting, I was thinking about when we were talking about parking, is if you were to park probably the furthest spot from the Walmart entrance, which most people don't park there, but it's about the same distance, I think I figured out from that, if you were going to park there, from probably just about anywhere downtown from the city parking lot. Not that I'm saying people park that far away, but maybe it's not. I don't know. Councilwoman Johnson?
Yes?
Oh, I thought you were wanting to speak.
No, I'm just listening to you talk.
I don't know.
I mean, I got lots to say, but no, I'm just teasing. No, I'm just watching. I don't have anything to add to it.
I was talking with someone about, different ideas we could have for different businesses in downtown. And one of the things they brought up is, you could have something that draws people there, but if you're going to draw a lot of people downtown, you're going to have issues with parking. So I don't know if there's anything we want to do as a city to try to address this. I know this is something that a citizen had brought up. A business owner had brought up, a couple of business owners, I think. And do we want to get some different things going on it? Do we want to have more done on it?
Has there ever been a study conducted about, like on the side streets, parking at a diagonal direction and leaving Main Street as it is, but to get more parking spaces in the area?
We do have that right over there near the chamber.
Or like it is by the post office?
We do.
I I don't think we have a lot of diagonal parking on the side streets, though.
Your Honor, I may ask if the Public Works Director may have some
He was just getting ready.
direction of, maybe in his crystal ball, what may be happening in the near future.
Your Honor, I think I can add a little bit to this discussion. Shortly after the last year's slurry seal project was completed, diagonal parking was put back in locations south of Main Street where it existed. That included 6th Street, as well as, so it's both sides of Broadway, and then over by Brown Sugar Coffee Roastery. There was a spot that was missed, and the diagonal parking was not marked in there. It was brought to my attention. So this spring, as soon as weather permits, we'll put the diagonal parking back in, and that's on 5th Street, South 5th Street East. That's next to the Smart Insurance Building. So that'll go back in. And then we'll continue to mark diagonal parking on the north side of the street, straight across from that. And then there's been a request to put diagonal parking in next to the movie theater as well. So the study is this: the roadway width does allow for at least one side to have the diagonal parking. We recognize that. So if there's a need and somebody's requested it, that it goes in that area, then we can assess the area, make sure it fits, make sure there's not diagonal parking on the other side of the street, and then either give them a recommendation, go ahead and install that, or if we have the availability and the paint, then sometimes our crews can do that as well.
Well, there's been people that have been talking about doing diagonal parking on Main.
I would love to see that, but just,
Not a big fan, but
I think it would slow traffic down altogether. But is the reason why, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
go ahead.
interrupt. Is the reason why it's only on one side of the street, is it because it's the distance of the street? It can only be so much accessible?
Your Honor, each street is a little bit different on width there. A lot of times the wider, you have the first block is pretty wide on either side of Main Street. So you can fit diagonal parking on one side and then move over the lanes. So you can do diagonal parking and then parallel parking, and often make that work with the street. It's kind of a street by street scenario there. And then currently, so yeah, that is kind of street by street and dictated by the width of the
The
street.
width, I guess, is what I was trying. Thank you.
Correct.
it sounds like we're on it. That's good. Appreciate that we're looking at that and trying to improve that. Chief, it sounds like this is kind of mixed. I would say maybe, what percent would you say of the ones that were asked actually were in support of a change? About 50?
No, there was
6 to 13.
18 total, so 13, so it's up there. 20-some percent, or I'm sorry, 70-some percent were in favor of leaving as is. But I'd offer this, Your Honor, if after the additional striping is done, and if any concerns or requests brought forward, I'd be glad to work with the businesses and get with the Public Works Director, and maybe we can find a solution, but maybe try to see if this additional parallel parking project that will come maybe doesn't resolve some of the issues. But we're glad to receive anything in the future and look at it.
Do we have any action that the council wants to direct staff, or do we have a vote, motion in any regard, or just kind of accept the report right now?
I would just accept it.
I think accept it because
You could come up here, Mr. Delgadillo.
Hi, my name is Rafael Delgadillo, Mayor, City Council, and staff. I don't speak for the downtowners, but I am a member, and we've discussed this many times. And the consensus was that we wanted to have limited parking on East Main Street. Now, what I noticed in the survey is that it ended in the 400 block of East Main. It didn't extend to the 500, 600, 700 block to Federal. Now, if you look where current public parking is, adjacent behind, I think it's Custles, is that how you pronounce it? There, there's a parking lot, and then there's the Amanda Henry parking. But from the 500 block down to Federal, there is no public parking there. And so that might be more affected. What I would think is that, I would like to take this to my group on Wednesday's next meeting to discuss it. And if there's a consensus that they're fine with it, that's fine. Otherwise, we can make some suggestions later.
Sounds good. And I do agree, you're right, this tends to be the ones that are closer to the city lot and to the future Brown Sugar Roastery lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It might be worth looking into establishing like downtown employee parking or residential parking areas specific to them. Because I think the last time I spoke to a couple of the business owners, it was that some of the businesses' employees were taking up the parking spaces up front, which hinders regular customers from coming in. But if the diagonal parking could go in and then maybe establishing an employee or business parking down the side streets to keep Main Street open, that might be an option too.
It gets a little bit difficult because, if we're going to sit there and say, for example, customer parking only, right? If it was going to be along Main Street and we don't want to have business employees, business owners, that kind of thing parking there, I mean, how are you going to enforce that? That's where that gets a little bit hard.
Yeah.
Are we going to sit there really and say in a public parking area, you can't park here, that's for customers? To a certain extent, that, I don't know.
They have
Me,
to
it
park
feels a little
somewhere.
heavy-handed, but it gets hard. Well, do we have any action that we want, does the council want to have any other action taken? Do we want to have maybe the chief go through and see if we can get some responses from some areas further down, or do we want to wait for a report from the downtowners?
I would say just let them
Okay.
come up with solutions.
I guess we'll just keep taking any reports or recommendations as they come. Thank you for the information. Okay, next up, consideration of Resolution 1552. Pause for the Cause Committee. City Administrator's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is in relationship to direction that was provided at the last council meeting, and I want to start by saying the name of the committee is up for grabs, and you can choose if you like pause or not. In brief, City of Riverton is responsible for promoting the health, safety, and welfare of the community, and that does include the enforcement of animal control regulations. Riverton Municipal Code does establish requirements for animal ownership and then also provides authority to the city to impound, quarantine, and manage dangerous, nuisance, or at-large animals. The city does own an animal shelter facility to support its role as associated with the municipal code. That facility does serve a dual purpose. First, it functions as a critical component to the city's code enforcement operations, but it also, secondly, provides a broader community value by sheltering stray, unwanted, or mistreated animals. Paws for Life Animal League has had a long-standing relationship with the city, and it has held a lease agreement for the facility referenced at 515 South Smith Road for several years. The relationship between the city and PAWS is interdependent, with both organizations working collaboratively to support animal control and animal welfare services. In recent years, the population of animals and demands on the shelter facility have created a need to evaluate current operations, facility capacity, and service delivery. These evolving conditions highlight the importance of exploring solutions or answers to these current constraints that ensures both the city and PAWS can effectively fulfill their respective responsibilities. This resolution, again, the name is up for grabs, establishes the Pause for the Cause Committee to accomplish just that, to explore solutions and provide recommendations to the City Council. It is Currently is proposed by the resolution that the committee will consist of 5 voting members appointed by the mayor and consent of the city council. That includes 1 representative from PAWS, 1 from the Riverton Police Department, 1 from a local veterinary clinic, and 2 at-large community members. Additionally, it states that up to 2 council members could serve as a liaison to this committee, as well as 2 Riverton Youth Council members. The city administrator or their designee will also serve as a non-voting member and provide administrative or professional support to the committee. There is no budget impact associated with the passage of this resolution and the formation of this committee. If you so choose to form it, staff will immediately begin advertising for the at-large positions that are available with the current structure. Naturally, as a council, you can choose to modify any language that's currently listed in the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Administrative Services Director, could you please read Resolution 1552 by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Proposed resolution number 1552, a resolution of the governing body of the City of Riverton establishing the Pause for the Cause Committee to explore animal control and animal shelter needs of the community and make recommendations to the Riverton City Council.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to adopt Resolution 1552, establishing the Pause for the Cause Committee, authorize the mayor to appoint members with the consent of the city council.
So moved.
Second?
Councilman Larson with the motion, Councilwoman Brothers with the second. Discussion on this. Mayor Warpness.
What an exciting meeting this evening.
They all are.
Hancock Council and staff. You know, I just don't know where to begin. We talk about utility rates. The last year, I remember when you did this, I came forward with a suggestion and shared it with me and a few of the people, and it got absolutely no traction. So it's, and the downtown parking recommendations, that's been ongoing since heck was a pup. You know, it's the parking lot that the city has there was purchased by the city owners in that area, and my parents that had the fashion bar helped pay for that lot, and it was for the employees to use, not the customers. And the customers are, you know, you're supposed to use the main street. So, you know, it just goes on and on and on. And and then looking at the pause, when I took office, our animal shelter down there was a small little garage, okay? And we put down, I think, something like 400 or 500 animals that year. And it was just unconscionable. So we've made progress in these areas. Vern Heisler was our city engineer, and Bill Urbakite was the public works director, and Bill Eichler was the mayor at that time. And we were able to come together and build the facility that we have. Well, it's not adequate, and it needs a lot of work and whatnot, but, you know, it's just, and then as I think about these things, sitting here with over 20 years in this type of struggle that we all have, and these are difficult issues, and I commend everybody for spending the time here to do it. For the gentleman that was asking questions in the back, I would like to suggest that if you're in the city, come and run for the council and get on and learn what it takes to make a community run. And because I was instrumental in helping get the 1% tax so that we could fix our roads. I still haven't been able to get the airport road fixed, and that every time I come to the council, I growl about that. So it's a study in futility, and there's a word that keeps coming back. To come and enjoy this type of entertainment, you've got to be a masochist. And that's the only term I can come up with that makes sense. But at any rate, regarding the animal shelter, that's one that is near and dear to my heart, and I'll try not to spend too much time. But as the chief pointed out, that the municipality has to deal with, or Kyle pointed out that it's the city's responsibility to care for animals and whatnot. At the last meeting, why Councilman Carr suggested that, well, if we do it for this group, why then we'll have to do it for all the groups. No, you won't. The Eagles Hope, they don't have the same status as the city's responsibility for animals. The homeless shelter, same thing. They're the right things to do, I'm not arguing that. And from a moral and ethical standpoint, you have that obligation, but you don't have it codified in a state statute that it's the city's municipality's responsibility to care for the animals. And so they're apples and oranges. So anyway, PAWS is a nonprofit organization that's accepted the challenge of dealing with animals. For the most part, they're volunteers, and given what they're dealing with, they're doing an outstanding job, in my feeling. PAWS has marginal funding from the city and must continually struggle to raise operational funds. Over time, this causes burnout. I have coffee with Kent Moss, and Kent worked his heart out for years raising money for the animal shelter. And Pam back here, she's done the same thing. So the animal shelter and general facility are not adequate to the needs of the community for the animals. The solution has been suggested that every 5 days, if an animal comes in, and if they're not gone in 5 days, put them down. Well, that's going back to the way we dealt with them before. And that, I certainly wouldn't support it, but it is a solution. Is that the kind of solution we want? Come on, we can do better than that. So anyway, my suggested solution that the council, I think, can take into consideration, at this time, there is no legal number of animals that a person can own in the community. Okay? When I was in your position, Mayor Hancock, it was brought to me by a lady on the south side of town. She says, I live next to 9 animals. And I thought, really? So I went down and looked, and it was a mess, and it was noisy, and on and on and on. And so I brought it before the council, hoping that we could come up with a number between 1 and 9. Council wouldn't touch it, okay? I had the chief of police at that time, Mike Broadhead. I said, Mike, you look at it and see what we can do. And he says, well, if you have 1 animal and you don't take care of it, it's 1 too many. And if you have 9 animals and you take care of them, it's not a problem. Well, that's not helpful. That's not giving you much direction. So anyway, the council didn't do anything with it. And it's my understanding that we still don't have a number that tells the citizens that you can have, say, 4 animals, okay? And if you move into town and you've got 5, okay, we will have a non-existing, pre-existing condition, like they used to work in engineering, and when one of your animals die, you just can't replace it, okay? And so there's problems associated with it, but just as we have speed limits on roads, okay? People break the speed limits all the time. It doesn't mean we don't have limits on the road, speed limits. And I think we should have the same thing for animals in town. We should have a number the citizens can anticipate, not having to live next to a dozen animals or whatever, but we just don't have that. So I would strongly recommend that the city pass an ordinance setting the number of cats and dogs that a citizen can have at any one residence, and then enforcing it. If you don't enforce it, we went round and round when Todd Smith was a councilman. They wanted chickens, and I wasn't wildly enthusiastic about chickens. We got chickens in town, okay? So you can have 12 chickens, no roosters. Well, I live right across the street from a rooster. So what do? You know, you do the best you can, put guidelines in place, and I think as far as our animals are concerned, we need some guidelines. Okay, we need some guardrails. And that would be something that the new committee that you're getting ready to create can do. And if we pass the law for chickens, as I recall, you could have no more than 12 and no roosters, and in some places you can now have more chickens than there's many roosters in town. But the difference is we can eat chickens, we can't eat dogs. So anyway, the PAWS board does not have the authority to pass such a law, but it has to live with the fallout due to the lack of such an ordinance by the council. In my opinion, more money is not the answer currently. I think we need to say, okay, citizens, you can have this number of animals, take care of them, be responsible, and enforce it. And over time, that will mitigate. It won't solve all the problems. You'll still have problems as you go. If somebody moves into town and they've got a dog that's pregnant and all of a sudden she has 6 pups, what do you do with this? You know, it just goes on and on. But at any rate, those are just some thoughts that I had. And like I say, the term masochist comes to mind because I enjoy coming to council meetings and hearing all the discussion. And so for what it's worth, that's my 2 cents.
Thank you for your feedback. Appreciate it, Mayor. Any other discussion on this? You're welcome to come up if you'd like. Coming up alone.
First, Mr. Mayor, name's Lonnie Slag, Director of PAWS. How are you guys this evening? The resolution that you had talked about there, would like to add a couple of thoughts to add to this. If they're going to be voting people, correct, right? I think they should, what's that?
I think that was the idea, yes.
Okay. If they are going to be voting, I think before they are allowed to be voting, they should come down to the shelter and work 8 hours in the course of 2 weeks. Saying a whole day at once, but 8 hours in 2 days. That way, it becomes a lot clearer on the daily grind that happens. And then they're much more informative. It's easy to sit at home and then talk about problems that you can't see. But if they're there, just asking for 8 hours. I think we talked about at least putting one person from the PAWS board on. And it would be Ashley. She volunteered. If we put 2, I would take the other position. Apparently, I'm really good at volunteering myself to do things lately.
Or Ashley.
Or Ashley. Well, she's the one that brought it up. I'm just saying. And then, as a non-voting person, or as a type of a liaison information person that could help, I would say we need to have Whitney. She's down there every day for the daily grind. I mean, sometimes I hear about things, or I'm down there for a day, but she's there day in, day out. So she would be a very good person to have there. Not necessarily I'm asking for her to have a voting power, but to have the ability to answer questions when that comes up. My time done?
Sure, if you'd like.
Oh, no, I just keep hearing beep.
Well, it tends to beep at the top of the hour and at every half an hour.
Oh, and I'm always up here at that time. Okay.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with you. Other than your timing.
Probably.
Anything else, Mr. Slack?
I don't think so.
I think we've got, let's see. 5 members appointed by the mayor, 1 member would come from PAWS, 1 from the police department, 1 from our local veterinary clinic, 2 from the community at large is what we have right now. And then up to 2 members of the city council, and I think we did even discuss 2, those 2 would serve as liaisons to the committee, and then up to 2 members of the Riverton Youth Council could serve as liaisons to the committee. Non-voting, just liaisons. So, and you're wanting to have added to this a requirement of spending some time at PAWS.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think that is unfair. If you're going to go that extra mile, to have a voting power with that, you should kind of live it a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, as the director, I can't stay at home. I have to go down there big it is, you know, you just, that, it just helps.
Gotcha. Any questions or anything at this point regarding the committee for Mr. Slack?
Your Honor, I think the only thing that needs to be made very clear is that council members' participation in this committee is not to direct PAWS in any way, shape, or form. We are there to let you know what our needs are as city members or as city representatives, what the city's expectations are from PAWS going forward is what I would say. Carla may have something else to add. And I just want to make sure that that's, the city's responsibility is impounding, as this says, vicious animals, dogs at large, et cetera. And there's a clear difference between impound and rescues. And how you guys choose to run that, and if you want people to be there 8 hours before offering any suggestions, I wouldn't have any.
It's not the worst idea.
No, it's not. But I just want to make clear that city's participation in this is just to put forth what the city's needs are, clearly.
Councilmember, I do understand that. I worked with RPD a number of times. Yes, we cannot, I'm in 100% agreement, we cannot have animals running loose in town. It just, sometimes we get bogged down, and it's just the difficulty. You guys do have, the city does have, municipality codes that we can't have dogs running around. We as a non-kill shelter, we live by our own codes as well. We just don't do that. So that makes us, the IC, the only place that we clash is just there. Some other help, other knowledge from PAWS, I think it could probably be cleared up. Probably not going to be cleared up in a day, but it could be worked on.
Well, and I think that we want to be very clear with the purpose of the committee being trying to look at what can be done to ensure, and separating out, and I think Councilwoman Johnson said this very well, there's animal control and impoundment, and then there's shelter and that sort of thing. Those are two separate things. And they feed into each other, obviously. If you impound a dog or cat for 5 days, then from there it goes to PAWS. And then PAWS is trying to get that animal adopted because those 5 days are up. I agree with Mayor Warpness. We certainly don't want to be in a situation where we're having 400 dogs. That's incredible. Euthanized in a year. We don't want to be there. But there's something where we have the need of ensuring that we don't have dogs and cats at large and ensuring that dogs and cats are being able to be adopted and rescued, but it's just not been working. And I agree with you. That's where the conflict really is we have that 5-day obligation, and then we have PAWS's operations.
Correct.
So being able to look at that, and really that's what I want the focus to be on this, is ensuring that we don't have dogs and cats at large, period. That's what we're trying to address. And how can we get that with what we have right now, and how can we improve that?
Yes, I'm with you. The other aspects that, you know, I do wear two different hats on a regular basis here. So I tend to look at this more as the college has moved several years ago with the AAS programs. Terminal degrees, they have an advisory committee. As a professor of photography, I'm in charge of a terminal photo degree. It's an AAS. So we're working on the same, get people graduated, get them out there, but then it allows, I get to hear from other sides to help streamline it. So that's what I was looking at, or how I would hope that this is going to work.
Right. Well, and I think that's just it, is I think having this be something where we can discuss what we can do to ensure that the city's needs to protect the community and PAWS where we can kind of find where those can work together, and how we can assure that really the city's needs and PAWS needs are both met.
Correct.
Councilman Carr, were you wanting to speak?
Sure.
Sometimes I It doesn't happen with Carla. Carla's the only one that I don't get false signals from.
She's got a flag.
I may have been twirling a pencil, but since you're
Calling on you.
granting me time.
Yes.
I think one of the key things, for me at least, is cohabitive solutions. To balance the needs of the impound needs that the city has versus the shelter needs that PAWS has, right?
Correct.
And how do we cohabitate with that, both, and meet both of those objectives? As well as, and I think I said it at the last meeting, we're turning over every stone that we can so that the operations that you're running can become or as close to self-sustaining as they possibly can, right?
Correct.
There may always be need for some sort of subsidy, but if we can minimize that, it makes that, an easier task to deal with for you guys, for us, for everybody, for the community. And it keeps the kids safe, when they're at the parks. And that's really what we're talking about, is that public health issue of nobody wants to see the headline with a mauled 3-year-old kid. Nobody wants to see that. And those are the really important takeaways, I think, is how do we bring a group together that may have some outside objectivity to say, oh, hell, we thought of this. Well, maybe not. And so I think this is a good thing to just turn over all the stones and see where we can go, maybe, and hopefully have some new light shed on, no pun intended, shedding, have some new light shed on, the issues that we face with capacity. So, thank you.
All right.
As Mr. Warpness had said, if you live next door to somebody that has 9 dogs, I've always been, for years, I've been in great fear of a hoarding situation here in town. And we can sit here and think maybe it's not, it's here. We just haven't, it has not come to head yet. We're not, no, I don't even know how we could handle 12, 15, 18 intakes all in one evening. Got pretty close a couple of times, and it's going to be hard. But yes, it's just some other aspects need to be looked at, both PAWS, maybe with you guys, of how many animals somebody can have. So there's a lot of different facets and that will help the city, help PAWS, help RPD.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Slack. Councilwoman Borders, since you're our liaison
Yes.
to PAWS, I wanted to get your input if you had any before we vote on this, and wanted to know if we had anything we wanted to change on it, if there was a motion to amend in any way. So, take it away.
Okay. First of all, I think we might have a bad connection because I haven't been hearing everything that's been said. But I guess from what I could hear Councilwoman Johnson say, I think it's important that that this isn't being done to tell PAWS what to do, because they have their own business they're trying to run. But I think having this committee to kind of look and find solutions to the issues that are popping up, like overcrowding and stuff, we probably need to look at that. I do think it's important that we have Whitney Fontes on this committee, even if it's a non-voting position, because she's at PAWS every day and she knows all of the operations. And then Lonnie, whether he wants to do it or not, I guess that's up to him. I think Ashley, of course. So I really don't have anything else to contribute. I just think that it's a good idea to get this going and try to get some collaboration.
Okay. Thank you, Councilwoman Borders. Any other discussion?
I'm sorry, was that for me?
No, I said thank you, Councilwoman Borders, and just was curious if there was any other discussion from anyone at the table, and I apologize that you weren't able to hear very well. Mr. Slack, I think, sometimes is a little softer spoken, which is not a bad trait.
No, it's much better now, but it's been cutting out a lot. So.
We'll try to get
But
it
I'm-
right up near the mic from now on.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Do we need to add, or can I add Lonnie's request?
To have some
Certain
service
hours prior to?
We could do that. We could also just recommend it.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That either way, I think if anybody that's on the committee, it would make sense to say, hey, we think it makes sense to go do that. We can have it in the resolution, though.
They could also make it part of the bylaws.
True. When we've done committees like this before, one of the things that we've had is like a charge letter that would specifically have some specific things, at least with FCAG. This resolution, I think, functions pretty well as that. We could also have in the resolution a specific date to report back to the council. I don't know if you'd want to have that set. You know, you wouldn't want to say, report back in July. It's probably not enough time, but maybe if you said report back by the end of the year, December or something, that'd be plenty of time to look at a lot of different options and
their feet under them.
But could also be something where we would want them to establish bylaws. I don't know that we specifically have that in here, but there'd be no reason they can't. If you want to make that motion to add or change anything in there, you certainly can.
Before he makes that motion, I'm sorry, if you plan on doing it.
Go ahead.
I guess I'm just confused at this point. Why are we creating bylaws to discuss what the city needs?
That's true. I mean,
We have clear ordinances of what we have to do. We know as a council what we have to have and where we need to put them. Why are we creating all of this to see that happens when our objective is to go to the committee that they're forming to fix the issues that they are working on, to just say, this is what the city has, this is what we need, and this is our recommendation. I don't understand why we need bylaws and all of this hubbub to go with it.
Well, I think as I said before, we're working on more than just what the city needs. We're working on the relationship that we have with PAWS and the services that they provide under contract. So, I mean, yes, I agree. We have very black and white ordinances that dictate here are our needs. I think the real issue is finding out how we can assist them in accommodating not only our needs, but then the needs that the shelter needs. Because there's two functions, as the mayor said. We've got a shelter, and then we have the impoundment. So how do we cohabitate? How do we get those two to mesh successfully in a self-sustaining manner?
And I understand what you're saying with that, but I'm saying that it is not the council's responsibility to see that PAWS operates efficiently. It's our job, it's our job to communicate with PAWS what our needs are and what needs to be met in order to continue the relationship. We have obligations that we need to express to them, and that's the purpose of having all these other different people on the committee, is to help them with the direction and fundraising and all the things that they're going through to be able to work with us. And we support them through providing them the building. So we're still supporting them through the building and paying utilities and that kind of stuff. We're not just cutting them off, but we're just making clear communication as to what the city's needs are and what we have to have going forward. So I'm just trying to understand why we need bylaws and votes and all these people involved to just fix the issue. This is what our needs are. We need you guys to fix whatever you have going on so that we can work together. And that was my understanding of the purpose of the committee, so I'm just looking for clarification.
Right. Well, I think in the resolution specifically says that it would be established to advise city officials on the animal control and animal shelter needs of the community. So part of the purpose would be to ensure that the city's needs are met, ensure that we're able to meet our obligations, that we're not going to have stray dogs and cats, and how that can fit in with PAWS. So I think the idea would be to have a recommendation that they would make to city council at a certain point and say, these are the things that we can do to try to address the issue with stray animals, and also be able to ensure that we're not, like Mayor Warpness said, putting down 400 dogs a year. So, I mean, I agree, we can complicate it with bylaws or that kind of thing, but it's not just something that's going to be communicating with PAWS. I think our resolution specifically is saying that it's going to be advising us so that we can figure out where the city's role is and what we need to be doing.
Don't we already know that?
Sure, but just what our options are going forward and how we can ensure that we're not having stray dogs and cats.
Okay. I was just under the assumption that we needed to clearly communicate what our needs were to PAWS, and the purpose of the committee was so that PAWS could work out whatever issues that they're working through so that we could work together. That was my understanding, but I could have misunderstood, so.
That's okay. Sometimes we make things a little vague when we write it up, and sometimes that's where you have some different things that could squeak in, but no, I think the resolution is basically, would be saying this is an advisory committee for the city council so that we can address the issues that we have and be able to figure out where there's balance that we can find between PAWS and the city.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Chancey Wozeski again. Bit of a semantic problem. I take umbrage with the resolution stating that the city owns an animal shelter facility at 515 South Smith Road. I would argue that that property is no more an animal shelter facility owned by the city than this building is. It is a building, it is a property, it is fences. It is not an animal shelter. The only reason it's an animal shelter is because of PAWS and their organization. So I just take umbrage with that statement saying that the city owns an animal shelter facility. They don't, they own property.
Okay. All right. Have any motions to amend or modifications that we want to make, or where are we at with things here? I'm not trying to delay too much, but I'm just wanting to make sure everybody has a chance to be heard before we vote on this.
I would probably move to accept the resolution as written with the exception of placing a recommendation on members to have at least 8 hours of service at the shelter.
Okay, so you'd like to add language to the resolution that would recommend that they do 8 hours of service over at the shelter?
Over the span of 2 months.
Over the span of 2 months?
Is that voting members or all members?
Voting members. I think that was the request.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion to amend, to add a recommendation for service over the span of 2 months and 8 hours. Do we have a second for that motion? Do I have a second for the motion? Okay. Motion would die for a lack of a second then. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Do we,
This
Aye.
This would be for the main motion. Sorry to be clear. We're back on the main motion, which is adoption of Resolution 1552, establishing the Pause for the Cause Committee and authorizing appointment of members with the consent of the City Council. So all in favor of passage of Resolution 1552, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay.
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 Okay. I vote aye. Motion passes.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
may I get clarification on the vote count, please?
Yes. I was Councilman Carr, Councilwoman Brothers, Councilwoman Borders, Mayor Hancock.
Thank you.
Nay was Councilwoman Johnson, Councilman Larson.
Thank you.
Did I misrepresent that at all?
I'm sorry, I am confused. I'll say, are we voting on the amendment?
No.
We were
This
voting
is the
on
main motion
Main
for the
motion.
resolution.
1552.
As written.
Motion,
Can we-
motion for amendment
Okay,
died
I-
for lack of a second.
Okay.
And then when we had the first vote on it, I said, let's clarify, this is for passage of Resolution 1552, the main motion establishing the resolution.
My apologies, it's late, and I would like to change my vote to a yay.
Okay. I know there was some confusion, and I also,
Apologize.
it's all good. All right. Let's move on. We still have a lot of stuff to do. A airport lease agreement, ground lease for FBO terminal and fuel farm.
Thank you, Your Honor. The lease agreement in front of you updates two lease agreements that are currently expired at the airport. One is for the fixed base operator, the FBO operator. It's for the actual building footprint at the airport. And the second is for a fuel farm flow lease agreement at Central Wyoming Regional Airport. The current lease agreement with Classic Aviation. The new one is with Intermountain Healthcare. They both expired on March 1st and then March 31st respectively. So these renew these two agreements. The main items to note with the two agreements is that they mimic our current standards for agreements at the airports. Additionally, you have the one that's for the airport building the FBO fixed base operator building itself. It's now moves it over to actually have the footprint of more of like a hangar space that would have at the airport, and then updates their lease agreement for current standards. The second fuel flow agreement just updates that fuel flow fee, which was originally 6 cents per gallon, brings it up to about 12.5 cents per gallon, which is in line with other operators around the state and airports around the state. So the agreement is for a 1-year lease, and then it also can be renewed each year. It will be renewed automatically. There is a 60-day notice that can be given by either party to not renew the lease agreement. And there's a 45-day written notice that can be given by either party to terminate the agreement. So it brings us into more of a shorter-term agreement, and it kind of couples along with that FBO request for proposals that's out currently right now. With that, with both agreements put together, the one thing I think to highlight along with that is kind of the budget impact. This will bring in an additional $1,800 a year, which is the terminal building footprint lease agreement, and then it'll bring in approximately about $27,000 a year with the fuel flow rate increase with these two agreements. And I'll take any questions that you may have on these agreements.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion to approve the lease agreement for the FBO building footprint as well as the fuel farm flow lease agreement at the Central Wyoming Regional Airport.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Larson with the motion, Councilwoman Brothers with the second. Discussion on this matter? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Councilwoman Borders, are you still there? Did you hear the call for the vote?
Uh-oh.
It was cutting out. We'll try again. Councilwoman Borders, are you still there?
I'm here.
You want to vote?
I had called for the vote on the airport lease agreement, ground lease for FBO terminal and fuel farm. Did you have any discussion?
Thank you, Mayor. Let Mr. Larson know that I can't hear everything, so I can do without his comments. And I'll vote aye.
Okay. Aye. Thank you. I vote aye. Motion passes. All right. Did we need to have an executive session on real estate, Mr. Butterfield, or no?
Your Honor, no, we'll plan on doing a follow-up at the next meeting for the real estate matter.
Okay, thank you. I'd entertain a motion to convene into executive session for the purpose of personnel pursuant to Wyoming Statute 164405A2 and Wyoming Statute 16405A10.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Carr with the motion, Councilwoman Johnson with the second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. I don't anticipate we'd have a motion after this, just so you're aware, or any action after the meeting. For right now, would not invite any other staff members in there. I guess I'll keep minutes and, but we are convened into executive session at 9:59 PM.
I can't deal with.
I'd entertain a motion to reconvene into regular session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Carr, second by Councilwoman Johnson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye, motion passes. Regular session of the Riverton City Council is now reconvened at 11:24 PM. We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Second.
I'm going to say it was a motion by Councilman Carr, seconded by Councilman Larson.
That'll do.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. We are adjourned at 11:24 PM. Thank you very much.